name's Angela. I'm the audience experience manager. I ended up working here when it was a month before my 16th birthday, and I live locally, and I used to come here with my school when I was a child, so it was definitely well known to me. I was just about to start college and I needed a job, and I was starting a performing arts course in Leighton. So someone said to me, why don't you pop into the theatre and see if they've got any ushering jobs? So I thought, okay. So I popped in one night, and the front of house manager, whose name was Simone, lovely woman, very serious, she said to me, yeah, if you need a job, come back tomorrow, 6 o'clock, wear all black. So I sort of left here thinking, does that mean I've got a job, or do I have to go to an interview? I was very confused. Anyway, I'm not a late person at all. Never, ever late. I'm early. And this day in particular, my bus broke down, and the connections wasn't as good as what they are now. And I was sort of, even though it was local, there were no other buses apart from one bus. So we had to wait for the next bus to come. So I'm now having a panic because I'm going to be late. I arrived 5 minutes past 6, and she said to me, go home. I was horrified. And then she said to me, I think she could see how horrified I was. And then she said to me, come back tomorrow, we'll try again. Needless to say, I came back the next day and I was early. And it wasn't an interview, it was just, here's what you do, stand here, tear tickets, tell people where they're sitting. And that was probably my job induction. So I've had many different roles here, most of them front facing, which is what I enjoy the most. I enjoy interacting with different people. With different shows come different audiences, and here we just do a massive selection, different genres of shows. And yet every day is completely different. Not always good different, but it's different. And I think if you can work here in such a challenging environment, then you can work anywhere and you're sort of set for life, I think. There was a show called Roadkill, and I think that might have been about 2011, around that time. And it was a co-pro with us and the Barbican. And it was a site-specific piece, and it was about human sex trafficking. And because you started off getting a coach, you got in a coach just around the corner, capacity of 20, and the action started on the coach. Someone had just arrived in the country and was a young girl and was so excited about being here and talking about the education she's going to get and the opportunities and how she's going to meet extended family she's not met. Very excited. We rock up at this house, and obviously the reality is very different because she's actually being sex trafficked. But because it's in a house and you are up close, you're so close to the action and to the people that are doing the sex trafficking, it just made it all the more powerful. And also because I think it was on a road which was just opposite my nan and granddad's. So I sort of knew that area, and it just I think it just made me realise that anything is going on in anyone's house at any time, and you have absolutely no idea. So it was just very powerful, and I like site-specific stuff. I just sort of think that there's something for everybody, which is challenging in itself because you don't get someone that will book tickets for everything. But there's something for everyone. If you like a pantomime, if you like a comedy, if you like black ballet dancers, everything. There's something, I think, for everyone. Which is why often when people come in and they're a little bit like, oh, I don't know if there'll be anything I fancy, you can then have a conversation with people and ask them what they like, and then, say, oh, we've got this coming and I think that's right up your street. Yeah, I also like the fact that we have our shows are sort of if they're not a one nighter, they're a four-week run. So yeah, it's just something, we don't have shows that run for sort of for 6 months, 8 months, because I'd find that very dull. But yeah, I just think that there's something here for everybody, and also because of our amazing history, you know, Joan Littlewood and sort of where we are, I think it makes it even more sort of special to me. So when I must have been about 17, 18, and I was in the box office. I started to do casual work in the box office, and it was for, I don't know if it was for The Curse of the Werewolf, but it was one of Ken Hill's shows, and Joan then lived in France, and I had heard all about this Joan Littlewood person, and to be honest, at that age, I didn't really know who she was. I just knew she was very important. And I was, yeah, so I was in the box office, and this woman came in and sort of said, I want to slip up into the gallery. And I had other good seats that were available. And the gallery is at the very top of the upper circle, sort of. Then it was benches, very back bench. And she just said, oh, I want to sit there. And I said to her, I've got other seats. And she just sort of said, oh, I'd like to sit there. And then she said who she was. And I thought, this woman, I don't know whether to charge her or, because again, I didn't know. And then she said, another thing, my name's Joan, I'm Joan Littlewood, and I don't really want anyone to know that I'm here, which is why I want to, so I was just like, great. So I took her upstairs. I took her up and said to the front of house team, she's just going to sit in row E, leave her be. And then on my way down, I happened to bump into Philip Headley, who was artistic director at the time. And I had this moment of, do I tell him? I knew something told me that it was an important event, even though I don't think I really knew the impact. She hadn't been here for so many years. So I just sort of said, I said, Philip, Joan is, she's in row E, and he was like, Joan? I said, Joan Littlewood. And then I was doubting if I'd got her name wrong. And he was like, what do you mean she's in the upper circle? And bring her down. And I was like, Philip, that's where she wanted to sit. And she, you know, she wouldn't sit anywhere else. And he was just like, so he's then gone up to find her and talk to her, I assume. But I quickly went back to the box office because I thought, well, now she's going to know that I've gone around telling people. But yeah, so that was when I met Joan and didn't really know who she was or how important she was. So, you know, but yeah, I met Joan.